Hey guys. Hey guys. Sorry. I'm a little late. How's everybody's Good Friday going? Trying to catch up on chat where I left off at. Just joined. Super excited. Yay. Just told us to go watch a YouTube video and didn't even help guide us. And you paid for the course. Oh no. If you known that you were paying somebody just to say, go watch a YouTube video, you might have reconsidered that. Oh no. Sequencing isn't an issue usually on the CPC exam unless it's a guideline question, which is wondering if you know whether certain things go first, like symptoms over a real diagnosis. But I go over all that for you. She's in a local technical school. I am too, and I'm basically told the same thing, is to go. So that's what I did, and I don't really feel like we even have a class here with Jen. We have more than a class. You have a family. Aw, thanks, Amy. That's awesome. My little ducks. So far, I've not missed a class and a couple of tearful ones. A couple of wonderful tutors. Good luck in your course, Shay. I think you've got this, though, especially now. Yeah, absolutely. Amy's struggling with Chapter 7 now, sequencing. I gotcha. The components of the vaccines. Oh, isn't that fun? I hope y'all got the document off my website and were able to copy those down in your book. You just scheduled your third attempt on 6/17. I hope you do well. Hey Deep, how's it going? Hey Go-Kart. Hey April. Hey Megan. Hello everybody. Oh, thank you, Miss Reynolds. Thank you for subscribing. I hope to help you out a whole bunch. Hello, my TikTok lovelies. Let's see who's on TikTok real quick. Can you guys hear and see me? I'm making sure. Just making sure. And on TikTok, just me talking so far. Hey, Stace. Good to see you. Thank y'all for tapping the screen. Oh, I'm happy to help. I hope TikTok keeps y'all plugged in today. Yep, you can hear me? Okay, good. Let's go to... What was I going to do? Oh, there's our Discord group. So if you guys have not joined the Discord group, I put the link in the YouTube chat earlier. I wonder if I still have it saved. I'm not sure. Nope, that's different. Totally different. That's the winners of the cup, so I can't post that. But I posted it in chat earlier. I can get it again. But I wanted to make sure everybody knew that this, especially if you're taking a course, will help you. And I know Discord looks really crazy at the beginning when you first start it, but download the app. It's free. No one's going to track you. I don't get any of your information, and nobody on the Discord app is going to track you. But you'll join my server, which is this main room. And then I have all these other rooms that are underneath it that are all part of our server, which are great. But this is the rules, of course, be nice. Where to start? This room has all of my 2 years worth of video links of all my YouTube videos and TikToks that are like mostly just YouTube. Where to start? If you're starting your medical coding, what do you do? Do you tab your books? Do you not? All my advice on where to start. The basics to E&M. I have like a set of 6 videos, E&M Basic 101. All the best videos are posted in this room in one little area. And y'all don't have to talk in this room. Just go look for the videos, but that's what I've got right there. There's a room also right here that says Discord help. If you don't know how to navigate in Discord, this video will help you learn about what Discord is and what's going on and how to navigate the rooms. I have tons of practice rooms like CPC, practice exam room, question room. CRC has their own practice room for their own questions, and I post them in here with the rationale and things like that. We discuss the questions. All kinds of stuff. CCS, you guys have your own room where I post your PCS or whatever, all kinds of practice questions, my recommendations for books, any webinars that I attend, like this one I did for you guys that I captured some screenshots for y'all that I thought were really cool. I post those in here. COC has their own rooms, CANPC, CPCMA. Y'all all have your own room, including Practicode. If you are going to take that after you take your CPC, y'all have your own room here where y'all can chat it up and work on that. If you want to know what I do for a living, I work in HEDIS measures as a medical auditor. This is a room where I post all the stuff that I'm working on at my job, and if you're ever curious, the new room for ICD-10 versus ICD-11 that's going to be coming out in a couple of years. Every place on the planet besides the United States already uses ICD-11. Will be forced to soon. Even the World Health Organization is using ICD-11 since ICD-10 is over a decade old. So that's coming up soon. I have study buddy room. I have job resources here. If you're out interviewing for jobs, I post practice exam questions in case they're quizzing you guys. If they have a coding exam with their job interview, I'm posting that information in here along with extra certification stuff that you can do, free courses, CMS courses, stuff that you can do to pad in your resume. I post all that stuff in here. We have anatomy room where anatomy questions go, a med term room where all the medical terminology questions go. You can sell your books here without eBay or Amazon fees. I have an HipPix room, an ICD-10 room, a E&M resources room, a CPT code resources room. Somebody else made a new room called the beginning here. It's spelled a little different, but that's okay. They're capturing my pictures of where to begin in your CPT book and posting all my little pictures right here in one room, which is really kind of cool. Y'all can make this whatever you guys want. It's your study spot that's not filled with ads and advertisements, no spammers. that kind of stuff. I have a compliance and regulatory room with all the compliance and regulatory practice questions and information that y'all could use. But this is all built for you guys. The exam day prep, this is full of all your exam day questions, how to get rid of your apprenticeship, how to apply to get rid of your apprenticeship before you even take your CPC exam, what camera do I use, how many questions are on the exam. All that stuff is in here. And don't forget about the search feature. If you have a question, you can hit the search feature about CPT code 992, I don't know, 34. You can do a search, and you can search for any practice questions anybody has used or any info that's got that code in it over here to the side. There's just tons of stuff that y'all can do. It's completely free. And then this is our normal chat room, and then we have that's the one where you click on just my name, Medical Coding by Jen. It's our normal chat room. You can message me here. You can see I've got tons of messages that I have not returned. 19 here, and then all these. I'm sorry, guys, I have not gotten to them in like a week. Except for Go-Kart. For some reason, she ends up getting answered for some reason, because at 2 a.m. in the morning, if I open up Discord to look or something, her messages keep popping up. I don't know why, but I got to go into everybody else's and finish replying to everybody. We do have a room that's off topic where you can post jokes, you can post your side hustles, your I need help in my personal life stuff, whatever you got going on that's off topic from medical coding, you can post in here as long as you're not spamming. And it's truly what it needs to be, something helpful. Pictures of your cats, whatever. You can even post that in our regular main room, which is right here, the Medical Coding by Jen room. But just for completely really off the wall topics, of course it can go there. But don't forget to utilize our Discord group. It's super helpful for you guys. All right, what else was I going to show you? Oh, my website, medicalcodingbyjen.com. Super helpful if you want to know how to book prep your CPT book. I have a room here that's called CPT Book Prep. So my website is just medicalcodingbyjen.com. You can join it. It's free. I won't spam you, but you do need a really good email address that you actually do look at, because what if I send you something? What if you purchase a workshop or something and I need to email you? I will only email you when it's absolutely urgent to do so. But right here, I have plenty of free videos, how to prep your books, tons of photos here, how to do your anatomy, how to do your ICD-10 book. You just click on the picture and it'll pop up an explanation of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. You have some guideline sheets here. Super helpful. The website also has tabs for extra educators that are in the area. All of our social media links are there if you need to join Discord. I have blogs here, like if you wanted to print out your guidelines for your ICD-10 guidelines, but you wanted to have enough space to write all my notes from if you purchase my guideline notes. Right here is a place where I put your guidelines that you could print out and you could download it instantly from here. It's an instant download right here. And you see how it scoots over the guidelines so that you have a fourth of the page left over to write all my notes next to it. As long as you don't write on the back pages, you write only on the front, you could take those with you for your exam if you wanted to print out your guidelines. I find it better to go move those guidelines to the codes, but whatever, it's easy for you. I got lots of stuff underneath the blog. Check it out. Of course, the shared gallery has all free info in it too. Has books that I recommend for like CRC. My favorite pictures for what I might be doing like tonight is to show you what pens I use, all that kind of stuff. This is the pictures, the pink and blue pictures are where you find how many components are in each vaccine, and that way you can write it next to each CPT code that people were talking about. That's where these pages are. Also, like this brain right here, I'm going to talk about this one because it's super important for what I'm doing right now. You see how it has each lobe of the brain or each part of the brain, but it has one word next to each one, like the cerebrum does smell. I love that. And what's helpful is it this one for tonight and this one, my book prep? Yeah. See how helpful that picture would be? Is if I go to book prep and I'm going to mark up my book, I just need to put down one word differences here to mark up what each one does. And that is super helpful just to have that. So right here we can put coordination. And how I found that stuff is just Google. So if you, let me grab my other cell phone. If you grab your cell phone and just type brain anatomy, and then you type in function right after it, just like that. Sorry, there we go, brain function anatomy. Yep, that's all I'm doing. Then you do a word search, then you change your search to images. You can find all kinds of images, and you'll probably find the one that I have posted, that you're just looking for ones that tell you what exactly the word, the brain does. Sorry, that camera doesn't do so well with colors, but you just want the one word difference. Pituitary gland, temporal lobe does memory, hearing, all that kind of stuff. The hippocampus helps you with long-term memory. Ooh, I ain't got one of those then. That kind of stuff. And hippocampus isn't even listed on here. That's something you can draw in and write what it does. Super helpful. Just Google and then fill in these so that it'll eventually turn out to look like my notes, like that, where it's filled in with all the info. And that is super helpful. Just knowing one word, what it does, is super helpful for the exam. That way, if you get asked which one of these body parts does what, you'll have it. Look up your prefixes and suffixes for the nervous system and just write a list of those too. Super helpful. Any guidelines you have, like no modifiers 62 and 66, we can't use those in this section. That's super helpful to write down at the top of the page, the very beginning. And then you can go in here and start doing all this other mess that I tell you to do, code by code eventually. But that'll get you started. If you've got your books and you're taking a course and you're tired of staring at your whatever you've got going on in your class this week, and you want to do something a little less stressful, this is what I call coloring. And super handy dandy. This one does our posture. Helps us with our posture. I like to change colors, that way it shows up bright for me, but you can do it all in black if you feel like it. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. This one is to alert us and it helps us with our motor skills. Stuff like that. Just write it all in. And it's pretty mindless because you're just copying from another picture off the internet, and you're still productive, but you're still getting things done. Other things that I like to do is if a CPT code has a parentheses in it, like, ooh, let me squeeze on down here. See if it'll, some of them do, some of them don't, like that. Then I highlight it. If they don't, I leave it alone. So some of them don't have anything in them at all. There's no parentheses, so I leave them alone. Now, if a parenthetical tells me to use a modifier, I do that in blue double stars and underline it all the way through the book. If it tells me not to use a code with another code, I do that in double red all the way through the book. If it tells me to use a code with another code, like this one, I do it in green with double stars all the way through the book. If a code descriptor says it is except without, I draw one line through whatever it does not have. This one right here says without lobectomy, so I put one line through the lobectomy. Right here, this one says it takes care of all the craniotomies except for the ones that have the meningioma, the really bad brain cancer. So I get rid of that diagnosis by just putting one line through it. Don't scribble anything out. You still want to be able to see it and read it, but you'll know not to pick that answer if your patient on your exam has that diagnosis. Super helpful. And that's my first pass through these codes. Then I'm going to come through here and I'm going to look for codes that have the same exact beginning point. Like this one says craniectomy. This one does too. So they start out with the same thing. This one's suboctable and this one's decompressive. So they're decompressing. So I'll make sure to move the word decompress right there. This one, I'll make sure that I put that this is suboctable, talking about the position of where they're at. This one is too. These two are both craniotomies. They're both suboctable, so we're going to have to figure out something else. This one is to explore or decompress cranial nerves. This one is to decompress of the medulla and the spinal cord. So medulla and spinal cord will go here, and this one will have the craniotomy nerves. So it gets kind of crazy. A lot of the codes are going to be totally different. Nervous system is a little bit more complicated, but most of the other sections aren't so similar a lot of times. It's either a shunt, this one's a repair, this is a removal, this is a dilation. You see there wasn't very many differences. They're all pretty unique. That's great. We don't have to do the one-word differences. But in this nervous system, we've got all these codes that start out with the trans, but they're all different. This is in the temporal lobe. This one's in the cochlear. This one is in the condylar, and this one is in the pectorals. So you just need to update the one little bit of difference so that during the exam, you're not having to evaluate the whole CPT code descriptor during your exam, because you're going to have 4 of them, or 8 of them, or 12 of them, depending on your answer, to deal with, and you're not going to have time to just simply, you need to do your evaluations of these codes ahead of time, which means you touch every single code throughout this whole book before you take the exam and update it, pretty much. Also, if a guideline is before the set of codes right here, and it does not end up in a parenthetical like this modifier 51 that it's telling us to use on these codes, and it's not in a parenthetical, none of these have a parenthetical at all, then we need to move that to the code. That way we're not going to have time to even remember to go up here and look at our guidelines as we're picking answers. Moving it to the codes is the best option. So I help out with that too. A lot of times codes have the word each in them. Sometimes they're not even add-on codes, but there's a few things we can do. If the CPT code descriptor does have the word each in it, that means we get to code it by multiplying it. If we have multiple of whatever it is, this is a vessel. So marking every one of the codes that might have the word each in it is super helpful. There are some codes that are not marked, unfortunately, and don't even have the word each in them. These two home health ones right here, I think, or is it the medicine therapy? I have to look. I think it's this medicine therapy. Our last code's the 99605. Let me look real quick from last year, see if I'm remembering correctly. 99605, is that what I'm saying? 99605. It's 99601. So it's these codes over here on the second page. These codes do not have the word each in them, the 99500 and the 01. And you really wouldn't know unless you've billed these codes before, had exam questions on these before. There's just no telling how you would know. Maybe if you had the 2002 CPT changes book, you might be able to tell, but this one is an each. You do get to times it. You would not add a modifier to that if there was multiple. And this one you get to times 2. So both of those are eaches. So it's really interesting and kind of cool. And I have some examples that I put in my notes for these two codes. But that's where watching the lives and hanging out with me, you'll get to learn all that kind of stuff. One of the other things I do is you can see that this code right here, it's red and it says it's out of sequence. You need to go through the entire book because the book is in alphabetical order and your exam is highly just focused on finding the codes, getting to them, figuring out your differences, and moving. But this code is missing, and you have to go find it. And sometimes they're on the same page, which is super wonderful. Sometimes there's one back here that's like 500 pages away. One of my favorite ones that everybody asks about because they can't figure it out where it's at. And it's up in the front in the E&M section. And that means it's like 900 pages away. This one is just right north of where it's at. But sometimes they're pretty difficult to find. They're telling you to go look between 10 different codes to find it right here, which is silly when it's right here, right above you. But you don't want to go start looking for 73 and then it's just a nightmare. So what you do is just write the page number down, where you found it, and I like to write which column number it's on because every page has 2 columns, column 1 or column 2, and I just write column 1. I also underline it when I do find it in red so that if it's on a different page way away from this one, I can discern it from the rest of the black ink here that I can find my red code, because that's the one that I'm missing. So if it's on the same page, I like to write an arrow pointing to which direction it is. Is it up? Is it down? Is it over here? Is it down that way? That way my eyes can get to where they need to go the fastest. When every little millisecond matters, it's funny, but yeah, sometimes those, just knowing where to point your eyeballs saves you a half a second, and that can mean a big difference between you having to guess a question or having time to actually answer a question. So you will become married to this book for a while and just always have something that you can always be doing, whether you're needing to really think about what you're doing or whether you're just learning motor skills so that you remember to look at your do nots each time. Thank you so much, Jim Bug. It's so good to see you. Hey, Nikki. Hey, Bruised. Good to see you. Hey, Kayla. How's it going? Hey, Maya. She said she's new here and I'm a CPC coder. And have you done a live on wound care? Wound care? You mean, I'm assuming because you already have a CPC that you're talking about actually really coding wound care. What I specialize in is helping people pass their medical coding certification exam, whether it's an auditor, CPMA or CCS or NHAs. So I teach from an exam point of view. Coding specifically for in real life, real situations does matter and change based off payer and based off your company guidelines. But I've done all of the integumentary and musculoskeletal coding codes frequently and do workshops on them, but it is all based off an exam point of view, which technically, you know how the CPC exam, since you are one, isn't really a reflection of your coding skills. It's more of your exam taking skills and your time management with those exam taking skills. It's not, because everything's coded for you on the exam. You're just having to pick out the correct answer. And that's what I teach how to do. But going from, I have a ulcer of, that's showing bone on a femur. How do we code without A, B, C, or D? I don't have any lives with that kind of information. I do my immunizations that way, and I do my MAS surgeries that way. We use no practice exam questions a lot of time with those. We just make them up on our fly as we go, because I can do those really well. But decubitus ulcers and stuff like that, I have not done those live without practice exam questions. But most surgeries I have. I don't know. But I still teach from the exam point of view, so I don't know if I'm helpful for you, but I hope so. All right. Let me get back to my practice questions and get rid of my book here. And I know that's dark, guys. Let me check YouTube chat real quick and we'll scoochie down to our first question of the night. It's one of our first questions from this morning's class. We had our duck class this morning. It's just a guideline question. There you go, TikTokers. And let me get my YouTube chat up so I can see what I'm missing over there in the last long little bit while y'all are looking at this question. If your Discord is only showing Discord tips, let me show them this really quick. There's this, where am I at? I'm not OBS, I'm here. There's this, right here, this word information. If you click it, it gets rid of all the rooms that you have not looked in. Click it again and then it'll open up all the rooms. Does that make sense? So clicking on some of these main headers, or maybe that browse, I'm not sure. One of these you may have clicked on and then it'll only show you that. You need to click the 3 lines at the top to get the rest of the rooms to open back up. Information will close all your rooms except for the ones you haven't looked at, and then open it back up, then you can see all the rooms. It's funny how that, I wish they wouldn't do that. None of us want to close any and not show us, but I guess that's efficient so that I can see all the rooms where I haven't looked to see what people have said in them recently. But then these rooms I've checked and seen everything that's been posted in those. I even have a CEU room that I forgot to tell you guys about. But anyway, if you need some free CEUs, that's helpful. Okay, hopefully that answers, and hopefully that helps you. Some people, Amy, find it nice to uninstall Discord and then reinstall it when they have issues with it, not showing up stuff, and then that fixes their issue. If I missed whatever you guys are saying, don't let me, y'all ask again. But I know I've got Go-Kart and a ton of my other mods in here. Hopefully that helps. Yes, this guideline question, be sure you know that any oral or rectal contrast means that you did not use contrast at all. Okay? Oral or rectal. Is the answer to that question. And the answer, to find the answer for that question, by the way, show you real quick where that is. Click on this. In your CPT book, if you go to the very beginning of radiology, I think, is it still there? Yep. It's this last sentence in your guidelines right here, right above the written report. Show you guys. The last sentence right there. Muy important. Right there. And a lot of times, out of all the stuff that's in your guidelines, even no matter where it is in the book, the one question that they might quiz you on tends to be the last sentence in every paragraph. So that's always something that I make sure, if that last sentence is super important or says something really significant, that's exactly what they might quiz you on. But that's it. All right, let's go to question 2. I have some cases coming up tonight, guys. I have all the cardiology and, oh my gosh, questions that I didn't get to on Wednesday. I have cardiology, nervous system, hip picks, and big cases. One of my cases has 6 answers and the other one has 8 answers. So some big cases coming up. All right, get rid of that. Put y'all back up here where y'all can see the screen a little bit. So if a patient presents with pain related to cancer, how do you diagnose this? This is a guideline question. So they just want to know if you know the guideline in this one. Hey Deep, how's it going? Why do I not remember this question from this morning? No, were you there this morning, Amy? It was a slower duck class, I thought. I ended up, normally they run like 2 hours, and I ended up a little bit sooner than that. Most of the time I'm just going, but I had a lot of anatomy in that one. Because people were, whoever sent me their scores for today had lower scores in anatomy, so anatomy tends to move faster. Oh, I have some important news for you guys that are taking your exam in the morning at the end of these questions too, for tomorrow. So if you can't stay up and you need to go to bed, remember to wake up just a little bit early to go to my live and fast forward it all the way to the last slide that I'll be showing, and you'll see that info for tomorrow's exam. Thank you, Amy. You can always go rewatch it too. You've got the link. So one thing I would think about if I didn't know is a patient with pain related to cancer. Is that 1 or 2 diagnoses? Here, if we coded A, it's 2. Here, if we coded this one, it's 2. Here, if we coded this one, it was 2. And this one's just 1. So this one's an oddball, right? If we're gonna bill something, we're gonna bill it out to its highest specificity. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. So this 0.3 makes more sense than this one without a point. So I would get rid of B if I knew nothing else. This gets me down to a 50-50 shot. Then I just need to know, which one would you code? And the rule of thumb is, what are they here for today? Are they here for their cancer treatment? Or are they here for their pain? They're here for their pain, right? So you know that A is your answer. But it's also related to the guideline, which is helpful that it works out that way. But yes, A is your answer. Yes. Always remember, most of the guidelines are just like this. What are they here for? What were they coming in for? They present with pain. That's why they're there. Yeah, they got cancer, but they're here today for pain. So pain's going to go first. And be sure to go to your cancer codes. So in your diagnosis code book, when you run into these questions, or I go over them with you in the live, don't let this opportunity waste. Be sure to go, look at all that cancer notes I've got here. Go to the very first page in neoplasms. Yeah, the whole C section is all full of cancers. But if you just need a guideline rule like that one, just post the example right here on your very first page. I've got a ton of them here. So if they're here for chemotherapy, the Z51 goes first. If they're here for dehydration due to cancer, dehydration goes first. If they're here for pain today due to cancer, look, G code goes first, cancer code goes second. I got these notes too that are available, but y'all can do this. You can watch my lives, and every freaking question you go write it right here. Now, What do you do about your G's? What if you go look up your answer in the G section? Well, then go write it there too, just in case. I mean, it's your exam. You spent $499 now for that darn thing. It's worth writing it again. And also, the multiple times that you're writing it, you wrote it here, you wrote it in the G section, you're learning these guidelines. You'll remember, oh, there's something about that, right? I need to go. I remember writing that because you went and added it to your pain notes. I'm sure I wrote it in here too somewhere. There we go. My pain pages. Oh my gosh, tons of notes right here with the pain. So super helpful. Don't let all this knowledge go to waste. Write it, your examples, multiple times in both locations. Super helpful. That way you don't have to memorize it, and you've got it written in your book in multiple places so you can reference this. Whichever side you turn to, you've got it. Be over prepared. And you run out of ink, but that's okay. You're welcome. All right. Let's look at our next question. Ooh, are we in diagnosis or cardiology or respiratory? I always forget because some of them are one or the other one. Our first code is the same. I would check it out just to make sure you don't have a do not that you could get rid of, just in case. I know the first one's all the same. We're probably going to keep B and C because these two have the same 4s. This one's abnormal and this one's way different, but just breeze by it if you've got time to check out your 33. Are we in cardiology? 33-2, just to see. Nope, we're in respiratory. If there is a do not that could help you eliminate anything. Are we in respiratory or no? No. I can't even get to the codes properly. We are in cardiology. I should make another video. I did that. I did 2 today. But this page right here, page 235, guys, of the 2023 CPT book, this paragraph right here tells you which codes already include radiology. Go to each one of those codes and write it includes radiology. That way you don't add it. That means don't add a 7000 code. Super helpful to move that guideline to there, by the way, as I'm passing by this page. Super helpful, but I need to make another video on that. 33249. Oh, that's my favorite code. I love that code because it's got everything in it. This is our permanent implantable defibrillator system. That's transvenous and it's dual. That thing's crazy. It also includes radiology, I believe. Yes. I don't have that note in my notes yet because I haven't done cardiology yet. There is a do not. It says you cannot use 49 with 33216 through 33217. None of those are an option anyway, so that's okay. So what's our differences between these two 4s? Let's look up that. 33244 and 41. Because that's probably going to be our differences. 332. 41 is a removal. This one's a removal. And 44, you can't do nothing with because that's a child code. You have to move up to its mama, which is 43, to see what it is. It's also a removal. What are we removing? One of them is removing an implantable defibrillator. The other one is removing a single or dual chamber implantable defibrillator electrodes. So are we removing electrodes or are we removing a battery? Electrodes or battery? Because our 41 says pulse generator, and you got to remember that pulse generator is just our battery. It's our watch battery. That's all. So are we doing, are we removing a battery? Or, and the reason why I picked these two codes is just because they're similar. These codes are all the same. Then I've got the same threes. I've got the same threes. I've got the same twos. But then I have the same fours. I got rid of this one because it's different. It has a 3 in it. That's why I got rid of that one. We got rid of A because it has a 9000 code with it. So I'm just keeping B and C just because numerically they're super similar. And medical coding exams have a habit of giving you 2 throwaway answers and then 2 that are super similar, and they want to know if you understand the differences. And these 2 codes, 33243, or I'm sorry, 44, and 33241 are both removables. And if you didn't know that 44 was a child code of 43, and that the difference is removing electrodes versus a battery, then you'd have to figure all that out during the middle of your exam, and you can see how long that would take you. If you had your one-word differences written underneath this code, or simply you just wrote electrode, and then 41 you had battery under it, you could grab that battery and electrode and start automatically searching your question like it's a word search, like you're doing one of those puzzle books, and instead of reading the question, you just look for the word and pick out the correct answer. So what did we remove? Or put in? Or do? What did we do? If you can't tell because the electrode and the battery are not listed, then let's go see what our differences between this and this one is. What is our 963? That's going to be in the back in our medicine section. I'm sure whatever it is, we probably did it. 936. Nine three six four four. It's our evaluation, threshold evaluation. Yeah, it's just the threshold evaluation right there. That's just the last thing. How many things did we do? We upgraded and we upgraded our defibrillator, which is our 49 code. Oops, I got 51 messages on TikTok. Yep. And we did the leads. We upgraded the lead. Our answer. And a lot of times you're not expected to know the proper sequencing in the CPC exam. Just choose the best answer possible out of the choices you have. Don't worry about what modifiers should be there, shouldn't be there, those kind of things. All right. We've got a difference between our 16s and then our 46s. To get us down to a 50-50 shot, we're not going to worry about the rest yet. Let's just go see what our differences are between those two. 3, 6, 2, 16 is the first one. 3, 6, 2, 16 is a child code. Can't do much with that one. So we got to go up to the 15. So we have to go to our 15 to figure out what we're doing, because that's a child. 15 says we're doing a selective catheter. All right, let's go see what our 46 is. 3, 6, 2, 46. Probably under a different header too. Atrial, aortic. That's what we're under. And then 3, 6, 2, 46. It's also selective, but it's under the header of angiography. It's selective, it's under the header of angiography. Our other one is under introduction of a needle, selective. More of a diagnostic study. So are we doing the angiography or not? Is the first thing we need to pick out of our question. Let's check it out. Are we doing a full-on angiography? This is just a catheter access in a cath lab. So I would get rid of both A and D. Because we're just doing a cath advancement in the arm. We're not doing full-on angiography. They would say it if they were going to be doing it, because it would be a study. This is just advancing the catheter. Now we need to know, do we include our 15 with it or not? What did we do? Because the radiology is the same in both of these, so we don't have to worry about that. We just need to know, do we add this or not? You can see how 15 has the word each in it, but 16 doesn't, which is so interesting, even though the 15 is a mama code. Would we add it? We did right and left subclavian into the arm. We advanced both. We advanced both of what? Both catheters. The right common femoral artery access. We went up the right leg. And then we went to both the right and left subclavian arm. I heard something go off. Correct answer is our C. We are going to have both. So unusual to see your mama be your secondary code. Super advanced question. Where your child is the initial, and we've got our mama being the each. Super cool. All right, we've got the 57s, and then the differences between that and the 58s. Also, we've got our 78 modifier. We're still going to have to look up the differences, but our 78 modifier is a complication. That's my note that I have down beside that modifier. So if there's a complication, we know we're going to use our 78 modifier. So 35701. It's a mama code, so it's exploring. What's our, and we're under the header of excisions, explore, repair, and revisions. Our 35840 same header. One of them is exploring post-operatively, like there's a post-operative issue, and our 01 is just the initial surgery. So let's see if we're post-op or not. I do see the word post-op, so we're going to get rid of these two. And if they're returning to the operating room, you know they had a complication, right? So we'll use our modifier. So this one's really easy. You know, D is the answer here. And we don't need to know who they are, or what they're coming in for, nothing like that. Just do word searches from the codes of what is the differences between those codes. That'll keep you away from any propaganda that'll get you confused. It'll help you speed up your testing exam abilities, and that way you're not making silly mistakes. What's going on? My C got put in the wrong spot. That makes a whole lot more sense right there. I know that's a lot of numbers, but don't worry about it. What we're going to do is you're going to put on blinders, and you're not going to worry about any of these secondary whatever codes. We're not. We're just going to look at the first code one thing at a time and think about it numerically. We have 3 that look the same, right? C is different because it's a 92. So I would already eliminate C because of that. Now I would back this up. What's our next thing? Would we have a 50 modifier on this number? Could we? Should we? We can go look that up real quick and see. Let's go look at our 64490. See if there's any parentheticals. 64490. Oh yeah, I was at this page today with our little duck class I have on Fridays. So what does our parenthetical say? Oops, I lost TikTok. My phone died. So I'm sorry to my TikTok people. I lost a charger. It died last night. And I've had to, yeah, I need to order some more. I didn't realize I was out of chargers and one of them died. Let's see. Right above the 90, it says for bilateral, we can use our 50 modifier for our 90. So if you, right here in our book, is that it? Yep. I get it right here. Our parenthetical for this one is actually above the codes right here instead of underneath it where it's supposed to be usually. But here is where your bilateral things are. Super helpful. It's also probably not written in the 2022 book because this is green. But it does have it if you're in the 2022 book right here. Same thing is written right there. I don't know why they rewrote it again right there again, but anyway. So we can use our 50 modifier with this code, which is helpful to know. We just need to look through our question to see if we happen to have a bilateral issue going on. If we don't, then we know our answer is A, because that's the only one without a modifier. I see the word bilateral, so I know right away I will keep that 50, so we can get rid of answer A. So now I just need to know, would 91, would it be a 50 modifier also? Or would 91 be a times? What does our chart in our descriptors here tell us in our CPT book about our 91 right here? Our 91 is at the top of the page. There's no parentheticals underneath it. But right here, if you're here or here, whichever one, but it says for 91, 92, 94, and 95, you use those twice if it's bilateral. That means you times 2 it if it's bilateral. So that means that B has to be our answer because our add-on code is only multiplied because, as you know, that I've told you, any codes with the plus symbol in front of them also, you should know that we don't add modifiers to those. So if you see any answers with a modifier on them, like this one right here, you know this, oops, is a coding irregularity because this is an add-on code. It's got a plus symbol in front of it, and we can't add a modifier to it. So anyway, that one can't be our answer. You know B is our only answer, and we didn't look up any words out of the question except for the word bilateral, and we picked the answer. And you don't need to know much else. I'm sorry about the TikTok stopping. I ran out of battery juice and I'm running low on cell phone chargers. I've got to get on Amazon and just remember to order some. I'm running really low. My kids keep stealing mine because they keep losing theirs. So I need to order another one. Yep. It sure does. Yep, B is your answer. Ooh, hip picks. Let me switch books. Got several hit picks really quick. I haven't done these kind of questions in a long time. So we have 3 here that are, my computer's running really slow. I hope it's not slow on your guys' end on YouTube. Can the plus code have modifiers that don't mean multiple? No, add-on codes, we don't add any modifiers to them actually. Especially modifiers 50 and 51 never go on add-on codes. But I've never seen an add-on code have any modifiers on them at all. I've seen other teachers teach and say no 51 and 50, but I've never seen any modifiers on any of the add-on codes at all. Anyway. Right here. I would get rid of A because it's not similar. Let's go look up our E170. E170, where are we at? E, A, B, C, D, O1, E01, 70. 70, 71, and 72. One of them's the seat lift. 2 of them are commodes. One of them's non-electric and one of them is electric. That's your differences. So even if you're not going to write your one-word differences underneath the code, if you just circle your differences when they both start out with the same descriptor, that's super helpful during the exam. 70 says commode, so does 71. Commode, chair, chair, with, integrated, seat, lift. You don't want to go through this during the exam. You want to be able to grab your one-word difference. And just marking them up like that will save you so much time during the exam if they are the same. Some of them are a bedpan. There's no other bedpan here, so great, leave it alone. You don't have to worry about that one. This one's a footrest. It's different than all the other ones. You don't have to worry about that one. Seat left is different. The commode chairs are both different. There's 3 of them that are all the same. One of them's mobile. 2 of them are mobile. Okay, one of them has fixed arms. One of them has detachable arms. So that's the differences between these 2, fixed or detachable. And this one is extra wide. That one's different because of the extra wide. So just going through those and marking those will help you out a whole bunch. So let's check out our question. We're only looking for electric or non-electric or a seat lift for this if we're doing a commode chair. So let me get my question. Come on. Grab the blue and delete it. There we go. Electric. So we're moving up to the 70. Toilet chair. Sounds good to me. Which answer do you guys think? Let me get rid of my book so y'all can see the question. You're welcome. Yep, I like our C too. Perfect. Yep. Q's and J's. What's going on with our Q's? I like to just look like I do with the HitPick or the ICD-10s. I like to just see what the sidebar says about the differences between the J's and the Q's. So Q's are temporary codes. Oh my, that's unhelpful. So Q0169 is a what? That's a prescription of promethazine 12.5. Phenergan, or 12.5 for promethazine. It's for IV. 81 is unspecified code, probably not going to be that. What is our J29s? A, B, C, D, E, F. J29, 50. J29, 50 is an injection of promethazine 25, up to 25 milligrams, up to 25, and it's an injection. So we just need to know, I wonder if that's typed correctly, or we have our, I wonder if it's typed correctly. But let's go look up that 550 that I wrote the wrong descriptor on. It's probably a typo. That's promethazine too, but this one's 50 milligrams. Okay, we'll put 25 here and we'll put 50 here, right? Because our 2550. But check out the spelling on these, because sometimes they get real crazy. 2950 again. That one seems to be a whole lot less words. Promazine. This one, the spelling on that one compared to the spelling of the other one, this one's got meth in it, the 550, and the 950 has maize in it with a Z. Sorry, my kids are texting me. So check out your spelling. Those are two different medications. Are we doing maize or meth? We're doing Phenergan. Do you know which one would be Phenergan, even though they're all under promethazine? That's why during this exam, oh, let me move my book out of the way so y'all could see the question. Y'all gotta holler at me when I don't move my camera out of the way. In this HipHicks book, you don't look at the, so if we're at the what was I doing? 2950 right here. A lot of times you don't look here, you look 3 words down and it will show you. So if we do the 2550, 2550 right here, 3 lines down here, they have a listing of the drugs that fall under suit of it, and Phenergan is listed here with promethazine all underneath it. A lot of times your HipHic answer isn't directly across right here written in the next to the code. It's 3 or 4 lines down is where your answer is. So a lot of people get these confused, especially in the injections and the J's. Be sure your most important area to look at is always down here in the drug name, because what they're going to call it and what it says it is next to the code is always different. So if we ordered 50 milligrams IV, which one are we going to code? Let me get my camera out of the way for you guys. Chemo is terrible. It really is. So normal to be nervous, guys. Yep. We're going to do D, guys. Guideline question, sorta, kinda. Which one is a CPT code, an E code, a G code, or a T code? So we know what CPT codes are. An E code, if we look inside of our HipHicks book, is what they're talking about. So what are E's? Just read your sidebar right here. Durable medical equipment are your E's. What are the G codes? Right here, we've got procedures and professional services, which are normally your Medicare patients, right? And then what are T codes? T codes are national codes established by the state Medicaid agencies. So we're just reading the sidebars here when you're looking at this particular question in HipHicks. And let's see, with those in mind, what do you think the answer is? Is Deep taking hers tomorrow? Does she have to go? They're both taking theirs tomorrow? Are they? Oh, she's taking hers? No. Next weekend. Okay, good. Yeah, chemo's terrible back here in HitPix. Good night, Tish. Be sure and watch the end of this video because it has gonna have muy important info in it. Current good information for you. If you're taking your exam anytime this month, it's gonna have some really good info coming up. Yep, G codes are for our Medicare patients too, so if you ever see the word Medicare in G, you know where to run. Pick that answer and move on. So we got 2 A codes, 1 G and 1 Q temporary code. Maybe our 2 A codes. Where are we going to put tissue adhesives for a kid? Where are we going? What do you guys think? I've shown you enough about the HitPix. I hope so. I'm still working on the workshop. I've got to travel to Vegas tomorrow with my mom, so we're leaving at 10:30 in the morning. Should be back by 3. I'll finish up on the workshop. Hopefully it'll be a good one for Sunday. The last few duck classes I've ended, I know 2 of them recently with super important information at the end that you're supposed to research that's super current. Where do we put, you're taking yours in a few weeks? Candace, those duck classes, my duck classes, oh my gosh, yes. It's just $5. You can sign on, it'll charge you through Google Play Store, and then you go to Google Play Store and just stop the subscription as soon as you take your exam or whatever. But yeah, Sunday's workshop will be available for replay for everybody. Yes, no worries. It's my free birthday present for you guys. It's my birthday month. My birthday's on the 14th. 7 more days. I just looked at the calendar. Wow. So my workshop this month is free for everybody, and it's on YouTube. It'll be streaming for free, except for the ads, I guess. I hate the ads, but they help too to contribute to the little contribution. I got me a little tiny $10.99 from YouTube. What did they call it this year? Oops, I'm spilling stuff. I'm still trying to fill out my taxes. What did they call it? Oh, I'm not looking at it. It was online. They called it something funny. It's like actors proceeds or something. It was really interesting to read that. I'm like, your birthday's on the 11th? Aw, that's awesome, Cadence. We got disagreeing answers, huh? We got C's, D's, and B's. This one's crazy. Hey, MK. This one is actually your G0186 or 68. Yep. We're looking for the word adhesive and the word tissue. It's with tissue adhesive, those 2 words. So be sure and write that example next to your G08. And if you have these 2 A's, you can write an example next to them and say, If it's tissue adhesive, go to G0168. That way you don't pick the wrong answer next time. Even if you pick C, go right beside it. Go to G0168 if it's tissue adhesive. That way you've got it marked next to all those codes next time. Another J code. We've got 2 that are 50. I would run straight to that code. How many milligrams are in that injection? And see if you're going to bill it times 100 or all by itself based off the order. Because these two are different. C and D, I mean. I'm pointing to things like y'all can see me pointing. Y'all should see me live. But I figured I'd be more distracting than anything else. Hey, Nicole. Thank you, MK. It's 7 more days away. How are you and your mama doing? I miss you. Yes, you have access to the duck classes. After the duck classes have been 1 month old. So today's won't be released till May 7th, but you get access to all the ones that I had in December, January, February, and in March. So those are all there for you guys. Plus you get access to the book prep videos and all the old workshops, which are question by question per subject. Usually about 75 questions per subject, like just all cardiology, just all laboratory, whatever I'm doing. And you can pause the screen, try to work out the question yourself, and then hit play. See if you got it right. If you didn't, go make notes. Stuff like that, super handy and efficient way to study. Are you kidding? Great. Yeah, TikTok died. My cell phone died. I'm running low on cell phone chargers. I've got to order some more, and I just don't have a way to keep it charged because this charger just died on me. So I got to go find another charger for that phone. So I'm sorry. We are doing B. Very good. That Depo-Provera or the medroprogesterone is 1 milligram. Can you imagine billing that times 100? That's funny, but yep. That is the correct answer. Good job, guys. J, we've got 3 of them with the 15s. 2 of them in the 59s and 56s. I would run to those first. See what my differences are before I checked out my question, see if I'm in the right area, then pick out my answer. What's the difference between C and A? Aw. Has she tried the new, my mom's on the Ozempic with her metformin and something else for her diabetes. It seems to help a little bit, her Ozempic. He just increased her to 2 shots a day instead of 1 on the Ozempic, but she still craves her sugar, but it's helped control it some. If her doctor's not prescribed it, maybe she can get it. Yes, yes, yes. I'm always praying and thinking about you. Everybody thinks it is C. You are correct. Good job. Excellent. Perfect. Last one, and we've got 2 cases to do in E and M, and these are just going to drive you insane, guys. So be prepared. Are we a 15 or are we a 16? Look up your differences in your HitPix book. Figure out just if you're a 15 or if you're 16. We'll worry about the times 10 afterwards. Mine's on metformin too, but she may need something else on top of that for sure. And those GP1 antagonists are really working wonders and very little side effects. She's doing the 700 milligrams extra release. A lot of the men who take progesterone or whatever, no, testosterone to strengthen their muscle mass or whatever, have figured out that metformin is a life extender, and they're wanting to take it, and they're trying to get prescribed it so that they can live longer, because the testosterone shortens their lifespan. So it's like one of these new drugs that everybody wants to take for some reason, the metformin. That funny? Now it's 2:20. Ask the doctor to give her Ozempic. My mom filled out some information to the Ozempic company, and because she's just on a fixed income with Social Security, she made enough to where the company sends her the injections for free. But it is a bit of a hassle to fill out the paperwork and wait for it, but they eventually do send it. And then you get it for a whole year, and then you got to redo it again. But they send it straight to the house or straight to the pharmacy, and she picks it up. This one is D. Very good, guys. You see why? It's the 15, not the 16. $15 is for our skin substitute. That's why. Okay. Our case right here is going to have 6 questions with it. So we're going to have to pick out our level of complexity based off the problems. You know, our MDM is not made up of components anymore. Now it's made up of elements. MDM is made up of elements. Our first element is the number of problems a patient has. We have to have all of these 3 elements in a line. I don't know why I spelled that with an M. To build an MDM. So the number of problems, the number of data reviewed, like x-rays, old records, whatever. And then number 3 element is the risk factor. If I do nothing for this patient, there's a risk. If I do something, if I add to them a 30-day prescription for the rest of their life, there's a risk. If I order them an ultrasound, how much of a risk is that to send them for that? Risk is our last element. These are your new reasons for MDM for 2023. The other thing that we can use is time if we don't have MDM. And all the times did change pretty much in E&M section. So if you still have a 2022 book, be sure and get an updated time list on your MDMs because they changed. So all these questions are going to deal with each individual component of each one of these MDM elements to pick an E&M code. So right here, they're asking us about the number of problems this patient has. Based off that, we're going to need to pick whether they're minimal, low, moderate, or high. How much data was reviewed, and then how much risk. So there's our three elements. And then also, down here at the bottom, they're going to ask us our overall level for MDM. They're going to ask us to bill that E&M, and then they're going to ask us about a diagnosis code. Are we going to code a symptom, or are we coding a J code? I think that's respiratory or something. So we've got 6 questions here out of this one little office visit. So my first thought is to always go to the bottom and figure out what our plan is and what we did to our patient. That way I might know what our risk level is. Patient has an upper respiratory infection. We did do a throat culture. We told them to rest and do OTCs and take over-the-counter meds. We did not prescribe any antibiotics. We will wait till that throat culture comes back, and if it says it's positive for something, we might. We did review meds that the patient is on, allergies, and here's their complaints for today. So what level do you think the complexity is for this patient today, based off the number of problems this patient has? Are they minimal, low, moderate, or high? Ozempic, yes, that's what I was saying, Miss March Madness, that her mom should ask about getting. Yes. It works really well for my mom's type 2 diabetes. It just, it's more of a hormone medicine that helps your body go back to metabolizing sugar the way it used to when you were a kiddo. So if your mom could run around with a popsicle in one hand and a lollipop in the other one, and never had any problems as a kid, that gets those hormones working back the way they used to so that you can actually metabolize sugar the way you used to. Ooh, I have and I don't think I have it. Maybe I have it. I don't think I have it. Where are we at? We're way down here. Let me go way up here at the top. Do I have it? I do have it. Look at this. This is lovely. I showed this in one of my duck classes. So this is super cool. If we're minimal, we're doing rest, gargle, elastic bandages, and superficial dressings. If we're low, were over-the-counter drugs, maybe some minor surgeries, physical therapy, OT, IV, and without additives, things like that, for like just saline solution. If we're moderate, we've got prescription drug management, major surgeries, not minor surgeries. Minors up here, majors down here. Social determinations like being homeless or something can factor in and increase, make you moderate. If we're high, we're up here with major IV therapy like chemo, could be here. I could add to this list so much. Demerol, things like that by IV. Emergency major surgery would be high, that kind of stuff. But dealing with what we've got going on, since the doctor did say the OTC drugs, that helps us, because this one says nothing about any OTC drugs, but this one does. And that's why I wanted to show that. That's cool. It's from one of my duck classes. Let me get back down here to where we were. There we go. So I do agree with whoever was saying low. Let's pick low. What about the data reviewed for this patient? Did we have a lot of data to review? We can't even see the throat culture yet, but we will. Other than that, we had medications to review and vital signs. So I know we're not extensive or moderate. What do you think about the differences between minimal or limited? What do you think? Good night, Gupta. Right after these two questions, super good information. I hope you come back and watch this replay. At least fast forward to the very end and catch the last bit of this information. Plus, I have some winners of the cups that are listed down here that I need to get y'all to start sending some addresses to Twinkle. I think minimal too. I don't think there's anything really here that they had to worry about. What about the level of components and the risk factor for this? For what they did obtaining the throat culture? Are we minimal, low, moderate, or high? I'm sure we're not high. Probably not moderate. It's probably just a difference between those two. What do you think our risk is? Because we told them to do nothing but take some over-the-counter meds, rest, and do some fluids. Bit of a risk with the Tylenol and Sudafed and stuff. I think low. Because again, we said OTCs. Meds, OTCs. And plus, because we didn't give them an antibiotic, they might have strep throat and it'll only get worse. This throat culture takes 3 days to get back. They put the throat culture in a petri dish, let it grow for 3 days. They also put a bunch of antibiotics on it and see which one works the best, which takes probably another day. So the patient's going to suffer 4 days. You can get heart infections from having strep throat too long without treatment. There is a bit of a risk waiting and not treating, but the doctors get in trouble for writing too many antibiotics. So they get in a lot of trouble for that. So it's hard if they're either dinged for overprescribing or they put the patient at a risk waiting. But the culture just takes that long, so there's nothing we can do. So I think there is a low risk. Right here, overall, do you think we're straightforward, low, moderate, high? Overall? I also have OTCs written under minimal. I think I've said that a million times. This chart that I was showing you, let me turn on my thing, is from the CEMC Evaluation and Management Certification 2023 Study Guide. So this is just if you want to be a specialist and have your own certification in evaluation and management, you can become a CEMC, and that's where I got that chart from. And nowhere else, anywhere else have I ever seen that OTCs were low. But yeah, I got that from here. So a lot of this is learning about what AAPC wants as an answer. And that's where I found OTCs was under low. I've always had our 7 to 10 day RXs written underneath low, and I've always put OTCs under minimal based off the practice exam questions that we've seen prior. But yeah, I've never seen the CEMC practice exam questions until now, and they have it listed as OTCs under low. So that's probably my fault for saying it, but based off of CPC practice exam questions, that's where I put it. Not that we've ever seen a practice question where they've put just Tylenol in a practice question, really. It's where I would put it if we're telling the patient to go home and rest and gargle. That's the same thing as over-the-counter meds to me. But anyway, this may be something new based off the 2023 guidelines that have changed. I don't see that, but in the guideline written anywhere, but it's what's in this new study guide. So, I don't know if that's helpful, but I'm sure you do have it under minimal because I've told you that before. That chart is not posted on social media. That chart is AAPC's. I need to make up my own to post it. I had showed it off for a duck group because those aren't public, but I'm using this as an educational tool, so I'll be happy to publish it. I just need to make it my own if I'm going to publish it. But as a teaching tool, showing it is fine. It's just, it's their work. You know, I want to be respectful of their hard work, and I'll make up that chart and get it posted for you. But it is not for right now. But yes, I agree, low overall. So we would bill R13. And what do you think our diagnosis is? URI. Are we going to be in the symptoms? Are we going to be in the J codes? I think we're going to be in the J codes, right? We're not going to code anything that's symptoms. So we can either be a J06 or a J31. I would look up those two differences, figure out what they are, and let you know. I will make myself a note about that chart. They've got quite a few of them here. I'm wondering if they have one for each one, like risk chart and the amount of data chart in here, because that would be cool to see examples of what goes into each one based off of how many constitutes moving it up to a low or a minimal. So this might be really handy. I just need to finish going through it and auditing it and make it my own. Yeah, I like the J codes too. No, your cases will, now I've heard tell of a practice exam question like for a foreign body up the nose be earlier in the exam, and you have to bill it as a, diagnosis one or an E&M one there. Then you might see that same question or scenario rewritten in longer format as a case at the bottom of the exam. But so far, everyone said the cases were straightforward and super easy. They didn't need to worry about them. But they will not be multiple answers per question. They are not like this. I like to do them like this myself. You're right, Rachel. Good job. And Linda. Lydia? Maybe Lydia. Good job. All right. Our patient is a low. We are a minimal. For our data, this is our data. For the amount of problems, we are low. The amount of data is minimal. The minimal risk, did I get that one wrong? That one is A. You were right on that risk. Then we've got a low for 2 of the 3 elements meeting each other. You see how 2 of them are minimal, 1 of them is low. 2 of the 3 elements must meet or exceed the complexity to minimal for the amount of complexity of data, low for the level of risk of complications. See, here they change it to low. I think this risk, I may have put the wrong answer down. For the OTCs, I know I did. I put the wrong answer down. I did. Because that's not matching. The 2 is not matching if I do it that way. I just wrote the wrong answer. Because of the OTC where it says that I copied the right rationale, I just put the wrong answer there, so I'm sorry. The risk was low, so we have 2 lows. And since our patient is established, we have 2 lows that match. This low and that low, out of our 3 elements, we get to bill a low. If, for our overall, if one of them is moderate, and then one of them is low, and one of them is minimal, you still need 2 of them to match, and we would probably end up with just a minimal because you can't have 2 lows, but you can have a minimal inside of a low, so we would end up that way. So far, they haven't asked any questions like that. That would be highfalutin for you to have to worry about. But you do need 2 of the 3 elements to match. That's why they pick low. Of course, we picked R213, and you guys got the right diagnosis code. Now, this next one has the same thing. How many number of issues do we have? What's the data that we reviewed? What is the risk for the patient and the doctor? Can the provider bill a prolonged service for this particular issue with this patient? They also want to know, what is our overall decision making? What is our office visit code? They want to know what the 2 diagnosis codes are, the first and second. So we've got 8 questions for this one. We have an established patient, so right away I know I can go up here and get rid of this new patient. It helps me get rid of one thing right out of the bat, you know, so that's nice. We have a diaper rash. That's not much of a chief complaint. They review some symptoms, or systems, I mean. Here's our exam. More of our body. Sure is looking over the kid really well for a diaper rash. Checking out all kinds of body systems for that. We have diaper rash. They did do a new med, Bactroban for the infection. They found a new heart murmur. So we have one new diagnosis with unknown outcome. Because I'm sure this doctor probably end up referring the kid out, but that doctor ordered an echocardiogram for the patient. So you can imagine seeing a kid that you've seen as an established patient, and now all of a sudden you hear a heart murmur. That's not got to feel good in your bones, you know? So that's going to be an increased risk of stuff. What do you think our overall number of components for that diaper rash is going to be? Minimal, low, moderate, or high? Yeah, no. None of your cases, they'll all be just one answer, A, B, C, or D. Super easy. I'm just trying to make it super complicated for you. If you can do this question, you can do any question they throw at you on the exam. Positive. Diaper rash would be minimal, but you throw in that heart murmur, I would still pick low. What most heart murmurs, especially if it's an established patient, it's probably something that you don't hear all the time. You only hear it in special occasions, which means it's one of those heart murmurs that they're going to outgrow. If they had a congenital issue that was super important to fix, you would have heard it. Everybody and their brother would have heard it. Should be low. But that's really hard for you guys because you're not supposed to use clinical information. You know, y'all aren't clinical. You're not nurses, doctors. But I'm using that side of my brain to figure out whether this is low. And you, as a coder, are not supposed to be using any of that clinical information. So that's rough. Where is our one new diagnosis unconfirmed outcome? I mean, we do have a confirmed diagnosis. We know the kid has a murmur, so maybe I'm saying that wrong. What would we classify that under? What would we classify that under? Oh, our lovely chart, if you're in the 2023 book, is on page 17. I don't know. It says undiagnosed new problem. That's what I was thinking of. I probably pushed y'all to moderate, but I bet that's not it. I bet it's going to be either an uncomplicated illness self-limited minor problem, heart murmur, insignificant heart murmur. Could be a self-limited minor problem. And then you have the diaper rash, so that's two things. That would take it from a minimal to a low, because the diaper rash alone is one self-limited minor problem. If you add in the insignificant heart murmur, they didn't even refer to a cardiologist, said let's do an echo myself. That's just another minor problem. So you have two. So that gets you to low. Our risk of complications for this patient for doing both of these things. I'm sure the parent is alarmed. Risk of complications. There is a risk of complications. Do y'all see what I'm seeing? I don't know if y'all are seeing what I'm seeing. I'm looking in the book. I can show you here. If we have one self-limited problem, we're minimal. If we have two self-limited minor problems, we're low. Now, what did I order? I ordered a echo, which is a unique test. We don't have any social determinants. Do we have any independent history? Did they do an independent history to add to that? Like, did they ask about family history of heart issues? No previous, yeah, see, grandmother and uncle, depression, diabetes. So we did do an, that's one thing. The echo would be another, right? The echo for the heart is another data point. And then the prescription, I'm on the wrong patient. I'm on the wrong patient, sorry. I went too far up. We did we do parents? Did we do parents? Any family history? Did they do any of that? Due to the child screaming, unable to get the weight, okay. Diaper rash with pustules on the arms and legs? Never seen a diaper rash like that. I don't see that they got the independent parent thing. Independent family history. Don't see that. We just did write a new medicine though. I wonder if that gives us moderate because of the new medicine with the echo. What do you guys think? Are we at moderate? Or are we still at low? For our risk. So would that be where we are looking at what the patient came in for, was thinking about the risk factor, complexity of the problems? Ms. Gonzalez says, Zeta says it is moderate. Take her word for it. Let's say moderate risk. Can the provider bill for prolonged services since he had to address the heart murmur during the exam, in addition to the chief complaint, diaper rash? Yes, the provider can bill a prolonged services. No, the provider cannot bill prolonged services. Or C, there is no D. The provider can bill a level 5, but no prolonged services. What do you guys think on this guideline question? I've gone over in time. I'm sorry, guys. Almost done. We can consider, Aaron, the decision to not send the patient to a cardiologist if the doctor documents his decision not to send the patient to a cardiologist. Now, in E&M 2023, if your doctor decides not to prescribe an antibiotic like they did in the previous patient and documented that they would write it only if the prescription is needed once the culture comes back, having that documentation noted that you decided not to prescribe an antibiotic is just like prescribing the antibiotic if they documented it. This doctor did not document anything about the cardiologist. That's my clinical information influencing the situation right there. Anytime I heard a child with a heart murmur, as a pediatrician or a peds nurse, they would be referred out to a cardiologist with the order of the echo, get the echo done so that they can take the echo with them to the cardiologist, or find a pediatric cardiologist that'll do the echo on the first visit with the kid. Whatever, they need to be done at the same time. They would be going out. But that's my own opinion and my own situation. Absolutely. And not unless I go into cardiac specialty am I going to take on that risk. But that's just me influencing the situation. If they had documented it, though, we could. You're welcome. Can an add-on code be a mama code? Hey, Deep. We had a weird one in cardiology today. Anybody got an idea on whether we can use this office visit as a prolonged service just because we found that heart murmur? Is that a yes or a no? 933 20. It cannot be. Can it be an answer for a CPC exam question? I guess so. Can it be your only code that you code in any real life billing situation? Deep, no. You can't use an add-on code without another code to add with it. This Doppler is always used with something else. They're either having an echocardiogram or a transthoracic cardiogram. Something else is going on, but we're going to add on an extra Doppler to do the 3D color Doppler blood wavy thing. And this is a mama code being an add-on code that has another child code. Yes, indeed. But it cannot be a standalone billable code by itself forever. It will always have to have another code before it because this is just an add-on procedure. You can't do a Doppler without an echo in the first place. So hopefully that helps you out, Miss Deep. Yes, prolonged services. Our question says, did we have any time in this practice question at all even listed? There's no time listed at all. So can we use prolonged services? Anyway? Sorry. No, we can't. All right. Last four, and we're almost done. The overall level for this one, if you've got to have 2 of the 3 to match, which 2 of the 3 do we have that match? We have low here, and we have low here. We only need 2 of our 3 components, not components, oh my gosh, elements to match. These are elements, the number, the data, and the risk. We only need 2 to match. We have 2 that are low, so we're probably, hopefully, done this correctly, right? And only going to bill for our low. And if y'all could see the questions, that would be awesome. I got to write me a note. I've got to make that chart to add our low and minimal. I need my, our minimal and low chart examples make to post onto Discord from CEMC, because I'm about to end this and I am going to forget if I don't write it down. All right. That was Deep's question about this add-on code because it was a parent code and it had a child code. So she was wondering about that. That's where we were at here. And having a sidebar for. Now for this question, our overall level of visit is most definitely just those 2 lows that we did right here. So we're going to pick low, which makes this visit a low. Then we can do our diagnosis. Which one of these diagnoses is going to be diaper rash? Probably not a symptom. Probably not a blood thing in the B's. It's probably one of these 2. I don't like our 9s because they're usually non-specific, but I don't like just using the 3 digits either. I'd have to look up those 2 differences. And then for our secondary, for our heart murmur, I believe our heart murmur is an R, though, I think. I think that is an R. What do you guys think? Do y'all know what the diagnoses are for this example? You're welcome. No, I love it, Deep. It's wonderful. You make me earn my Wheaties because you're a very good coder and your questions are not simple, which is lovely. It's great. I love it. You're not bothering me at all. All right, we're going to go with C. We're going to see what Jeanette has. And then what do we think about our last diagnosis at the end? Are we going to be in the I's? Are we going to be over here in these R's? I don't like the 9. Because usually those are non-specific. Look at Sammy. My cats. Good. Diaper rash, okay. What about our secondary diagnosis right here? What do we think about our secondary for our heart murmur? Emily says A. All right, let's check out our answers. See if we got them right. All right, we've got low, low, and moderate. Moderate risk prescribing a drug management. Even for just a cream, though, that was like diaper rash cream. I was questioning whether even just a cream ended up being. That's funny. Okay. Oh, wrong one. We went too far. We've got our prescription drugs. We cannot do prolonged services. We had no time. No time. For sure. And then we had low for our MDM and our 13. And then we had our 22 and our R. Y'all did good diagnosing that. I didn't even look them up. So good job. Perfect. Here is some information for anybody taking the exam tomorrow. Be sure you know what a Warthin's tumor in the salivary gland is, what this itching is, what the skin infection is, where the skin gland is just part of the female reproductive system. Know your parts of the lymphatic system, like they might ask you, which one of these is part of the lymphatic system? Is it A, B, C, or D? Be sure you know what the lacrimal gland, your tear duct, cystitis is, what the watery liquid in your eye is called, hint, and which codes can be billed according to Appendix D, and that is DEEP's add-on codes, by the way. Be sure you know what body parts are in the right upper quadrant, left upper quadrant, right lower and left lower. Like a lot of people go to that digestive system and write a T like this, and then they'll write, you know, whatever body parts go here, whichever ones go here and here and here. We had gallbladder up in the upper right, I think during our duct class today or something, that was testing everybody's. Let me go back up here and see if I can find it. Testing everybody's resolve today. And Gall. Wrong one. Oh, that's going to be on a different Word document, actually. Right? Yeah. Different Word document, which I have to... Ooh. It may just crash on me. I'm finding it. Hold on. Gallbladder. Oh, Lord. Let me go here to Word and switch it to today's duct class. Right here. This is one of those questions that I was talking about this morning that had everybody flustered. Be sure you know where that is. Oops, I lost it again. where the gallbladder is, it was right upper quadrant. That's all super helpful. Helpful info. Take my word for it. We usually write it in at on the digestive system page. Super helpful info. Oh, I gotta reboot my laptop because it is just not happy with me. It's so slow. It's wanting to update Word so bad. And let me look up something really quick to tell you guys. Where is the phone? Okay, here's the phone. So we did any other questions before we finish for tonight too, by the way, while y'all are here? Yeah, Bactroban, but it's a prescription. Yeah, be sure all those are important questions that I've seen somebody say somewhere that was on their exam was super important to know, might be helpful, might not. Hopefully it does. And if your name is on this list, Twinkle couldn't be here today, but she'll be back. Let's see. Need y'all to email her if your name's on this list. I'm typing out her email for you guys, if I can spell it correctly. I'm going to draw some more for on Sundays live too. At gmail.com for your, I think I keep spelling it wrong. I keep doing like instead of little star. She's Twinkle Little Star. Here we go. If your name is on this list, you need to send her your shipping address so that, thank you, Michelle, so that I can send you your cup. My misspelled hot mess cups. We've got 49 of them to give away. And this is part of the list. I think MK is on here, isn't you? Isn't you, MK? And Anointed, I don't know who all is here. April. Not sure. Hopefully, these people are still watching me. I know Miss Welch is. Victoria, Emily, they're usually on TikTok. Some of those are. Vanessa won a cup already from me. She's gonna get another one. I have 49 of them. I can't remember how many this is, but this is the first batch that's going out. I just need shipping addresses, and I gotta stick some stickers on them, and then we'll be good to go. Something else on the side. What are we doing? Right here? These right here? Is what I've got for tonight. Just these. Virginia, you're on there? Awesome. Be sure and email her your address for the cup. I've got a ton more. I've got 49 to give away. Was there something else on the side we needed to know? I bet it's you, Vanessa. I'm not sure. I think it's the Vanessa that is on YouTube because you have a star. So it must be you. This info, be sure you know this for the exam for sure. And then we've got all these names. We'll get these posted in Discord and keep it running list here of my hot mess cups. I got to get it to where y'all can see the whole list all in one. Too, that would be nice. I should have put columns or something else in here. I'll get it all figured out. You're welcome. They're a hot mess. Yep, there's going to be plenty more. Plenty more being drawn. Hopefully I will see you guys on Sunday. It'll be 2 p.m. Arizona time zone. I just shared on to Facebook, I think. Let me see if I can find it real quick. The link to Sunday's workshop. I mean, it's on the YouTube page. So it's the very next live coming up. So you should be able to find it fairly easy. Oh, I closed all my YouTube channels, but you should be able to find it fairly easy. Shouldn't be too much of trouble. And I hope to see all of you. Lab and Path and E&M will do 75 questions in 3 hours. It's fast-paced. I don't have a lot of time to go back and explain things, but let me know if you don't understand. Stop, be sure and comment if you do not understand a particular question, but I'll do my best from the exam point of view on how I would attack the question if it was mine and I was doing it during the exam. So I hope these help out for sure. Separate procedure. Burbank, happy to answer that one. So let's look real quick. Let me get my camera up so I can show you an example real quick. What book is that? Let me get my 2023. So let's see. I need to do my nervous system next. So let's see if there is one that says that early, since I'm here. Oh, wrong section. Let's see. Are there any that say separate procedure? Of course, when I look for one, I won't be able to find one, right? They're all over in your way all the time, driving you nuts. And then when I look for one, of course I can't find one. Separate procedure, separate procedure. Shoot me a code in chat if you know one right away. You don't have to be a member to see it on Sunday. Not at all. It's okay. Sundays is completely free to watch and replay as much as you want. No worries. It's my birthday gift to you guys. Oh, come on. You know, it's everywhere in this stupid book. And then when I go to find one, there's not one. Okay, 615. Thank you very much. 615. 61535 on the, oh yeah, perfect. You check out Mama and stuff real quick. Mama is a craniotomy. We're going to elevate a bone flap. We're working in the subdural electroarray for long-term seizure monitoring. Okay, the one before it is with an excision of focus without something, so we're going to get rid of that without. This one is removal of an array without, okay, removal of an electrode. So, the removal of an electrode does not need to be coded separately if we do any of the procedures below it, because it's included in all of these. If we did any of these excisions or lobectomies or transections, partial or subtotal, or any of these excisions, that removal of that electrode is already included in any of these. It would not be a separate procedure unless it technically is a separate procedure. And it would have to be strongly documented. And a lot of times it's more like you're doing a subdural tap and a drainage or something under a different header completely. Then you did a removal of an electrode with it. Then it would be okay to code it. But in normal circumstances, it's already included in any of these procedures. Does that help? I see all these withouts, and I'm going to get, it drives me nuts to see them there. So I'm like, I got to get rid of them. Without an electrocardiograph surgery. Not requiring bone grafts. We'll just get rid of them grafts because we do not need them there. The next one has bone grafts. You're very welcome, Burbank. Happy to help you. Any other questions? Common abbreviations, prefixes, suffixes. Drawing the parts and the labels and the other pictures, but not that one. What is Aaron talking about? Y'all are probably having your own conversations. Let me get the link for you guys while we're here. No, YouTube. There we go. YouTube and my website. Yep, my channel. Yep. And where is my upcoming? upcoming, yep, is right there. And we can get the link. Copy. Copy. Yep. Cats! No. My little Sammy's being bad. It's time to go feed them. Here's the link for Sunday, 2 p.m. I know it's Easter Sunday. It's just all I got. Next weekend's my birthday, and then the weekend after that, going on a weekend trip with my oldest. And then I don't know what I'm doing the next weekend after that, but I wanted to make sure you guys got your workshop because I know a lot of you are having your exams in April. So that is it for Sunday. Someone asked what we all have written on the diagram picture pages. Depends. Oh yeah, that's what you were writing. That's pretty much it. Prefixes, suffixes, what each body part labeled does. And then don't forget to bundle things like what's inside your small intestines, what's just inside your large intestines, what's in your upper quadrant, lower quadrants, bundling things. They're always asking those questions about stuff that's bundled together. Do you know what body parts are in it? What are the 3 parts of the knee? Those kind of things. What are the 3 parts of the shoulder? Stuff like that. Oh, don't forget about the colonoscopy chart. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. Where's the digestive? That's super important for tomorrow, guys. If anybody's taking their exam, there is a decision tree in this colonoscopy section. I'm coming, Sammy. Cat wants out. Right here. Be sure you know where this decision tree is in the CPT book. Be sure you know where this is because some question comes from here too. You're welcome. Amy, you're already entered in because you are a member of the YouTube club. So you are already entered in there. Yep, page 368. Super important for the exam. Yep. And I find a lot of answers in coding tips, especially that critical care 99291. There's a coding tip there about what's included in critical care services. That one's important too. Be sure you know where that one is too. My cat's resorted to tinkling a bell now. All right, I'm going to get off here. It's been like 3 hours. It has been 3 hours. Oh my goodness. All right, guys. I wish y'all all the best tomorrow, and I will see you on Sunday. I hope this has been helpful.